Hello, this is Ms. Schrader. Today we are going to be talking about the Shang Dynasty in China. My students, you'll need a piece of paper and something to write with. I'm going to take some notes. When you're done, you're going to give me 5 sentences about what you found interesting, educational, and important about the Shang Dynasty. The statue you're looking at is actually a modern statue done in the early 20th century of Lady Lu Hao, who was a woman during the Shang Dynasty. Her grave has been found. And so they have made this very modern image of her to put outside of her grave. So here we have a map showing the territory owned by the Shang. The Shang is the second known dynasty of China. They supposedly existed between 1766 and 1122 BCE. That's before the current era, so about close to 4,000 years ago. So they're very old. In fact, they're one of the oldest ones. And because of that, originally, most modern historians thought it was a myth. It was a story that had been created and that was nothing real to it. Starting in the late 19th century, archaeology that was done found proof of the existence of the Shang dynasty. Now, according to the story, Jan Di, the second wife of Emperor Ku, swallowed an egg dropped by a black bird and gave birth miraculously to Ji or Qi, and Ji helped Yu the Great control the Great Flood, and that's how the Shang came into being. And this is a picture of Yu the Great, and this was done a couple of 100 years later. Okay, so this is Dai Qin, supposedly the last Shang king. According to the stories, he committed suicide after his army was defeated by Wu of Chou, and the Chou dynasty came into power. Now, as I said, starting in the late part of the 19th century, archaeologists started digging in sites along the Yellow River, that's the southern part of China, and found lots of different sites where they found different things. One of the most famous things that they found, and they found a lot of them, is this example that you're seeing here, which are known as oracle bones. You would take a bone, normally an animal bone. This actually is a tortoise shell. And you would take it to an oracle, somebody to tell you the future. And you'd ask them a question, and they would stick the bone into the fire, and the fire would crack the bone. Once the bone is brought out, they interpret the cracks. So your question is, will I do well in history class? And the cracks are going to say, you will do well in history class if you study quite a bit. Then what he would do is he would write the question on one side of the bone and the answer on the other side. And if you look on both sides of this tortoise shell, you can see the writing. And that actually is the main point. During the Shang, we have the development of writing, some of the earliest known writing in the history of the world. Another thing that was found in huge amounts in these archaeological sites were bronze items, like this bronze battle axe that you're seeing here. Prior to this, people would have been making things in stone or wood. They're not going to be as strong or as powerful. Once you start mixing metals the way they do with bronze, you're going to get something that's going to be much more powerful, do much better. In the case of a battle axe, do more damage, stay sharp longer. And so it's going to be able to help them more. And here we have a bronze ding vessel, possibly for holding water in. And once again, found at this archaeological site, so it would be thousands of years old. The Shang were ancestor worshippers, and they had shamans, leaders, religious leaders who would put on masks like the bronze mask you're looking at for the purpose of enticing the ancestors to help people. This is the burial pit of the Lady Fu Hao, whose statue we saw at the beginning of this. Um, it is at the capital city of Yin, which is today Yang. And you can see by all the stuff that's in there, all of that is bronze. So they had a huge number of bronze items. Ironically enough, they seem to know a great deal about the contents of her tomb. Don't seem to know a whole lot about her other than she was the wife of General Fu Hao. And she was one of many wives for him. This was discovered around 1976. They actually can even tell you exactly what was in there. They're mentioning 755 jade objects, 564 bones, that's bone objects, including hairpins, 468 bronze objects, 63 stone objects. So they actually have a list here of all the things in her tomb. And her tomb is now on display in Yang. I kind of like this piece. This is a jade phoenix pendant from around 1200 BCE, also found in her tomb. So the Shang Dynasty was the second known dynasty of China. They're famous for the fact that they have some of the earliest writing in the world, for their amazing bronze work, as well as for their religion which praised their ancestors. My students, you are giving me 5 complete sentences about what you found interesting, educational, and important, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you. Bye.